Dropping Backyard Paradise online at landisbc.com. We are 1 day away from the NFL draft, so we know this man's phone is buzzing every Wednesday. The great Adam Schefter joins us. Shefty, good morning.
Good morning, guys. What's going on?
What's going on with you?
We are very excited for this draft tomorrow, obviously because we have no idea what the Eagles could do at 32. They could trade up. They could trade back. There's 5 different positions where they could draft with 32. But before we even get to the Eagles, I saw Peter Schrager yesterday reporting that now picks 2 and 3 could be on the table. Could round 1 tomorrow night, even though it's always a festivity, could tomorrow be even more crazy with those 2 top 3 picks potentially on the move?
Well, I would just say this, that there's a lot of fun conversation, and there are a lot of conversations that occur. But correct me if I'm wrong, it is now the day before the draft, and every single team still currently owns its initial first-round pick.
First time in, 30 years? I mean, it's amazing.
First time since, I believe it might be the first time in the common draft era.
That's amazing.
Okay, so yes. And by the way, there are a couple of reasons for that, and I talked about this in my podcast this week. Like, the quarterback class is a part of it because they're in the eyes of front offices, are not that many, great quarterback prospects in this draft in their eyes. But beyond that, I think maybe a equally important factor in this is the idea that this draft is considered very deep in the second and third rounds. Like, that's the quality of the draft. That's the sweet spot. And teams don't want to give up those picks to move back. And with that being the case, you're seeing them sit right where they are and hold on to those picks that ordinarily would be used as bargaining chips to go up in the draft. They don't want to move off their second and third round picks in this draft. That's where the strength of the draft is.
Adam, do you hear teams say that next year's quarterback draft looks like it's going to be a better one, or do you just see teams saying it's not of value this year to be overvaluing these guys in these positions?
Well, I think people expect, first of all, next year's quarterback, I don't even know who's in the draft. It's going to be better. I'm just telling you because
okay, good.
When you get a down draft like this, quarterback-wise, inevitably, you don't get 2 of those in a row. Not with how much college teams are throwing the football these days. It's just not going to happen. Now, again, I know people are all over Arch Manning coming out, and maybe I would guess he doesn't come out. Like, his uncles didn't come out. They value staying in school. There's NIL money to stay in school. Nobody's going to make more NIL money. And if he's enjoying his experience, I don't know why he would go out, but that's a year from now, right?
Sure.
But yeah, I would think that the quarterback class is going to be better, stronger. And I did have a couple of teams mention that to me. Last year's quarterback class was very strong. I think there's a feeling that next year's will be at the very least better.
Shefty, one of the players that we all kind of have an eye on is Walter Nolan, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. There's mock drafts that have him going 15. There's mock drafts that have him fallen to 32 for the Eagles. And a lot of it is character issues is what's being reported. Right. What do you think is the likelihood of a guy like Walter Nolan, where there is a lot of talk other than just his play, that could have him fall that low into the first round?
Philadelphia got lucky on Jalen Carter. It's not going to get lucky on Walter Nolan like that, okay? That's not going to happen. I don't think he's falling to 32. I would expect that he's gone, I would say, somewhere in the teens would be my guess. You could just look at the teams that are picking there and the teams that need defensive line help. Like, could you see Atlanta take him? Yes. Could you see Arizona? Yes. Could you see Cincinnati? Yes. I mean, I don't think he's getting through to 32. But we'll see. That's what the draft's about.
I have a friend that I was speaking to yesterday who works for an NFL franchise who said to me, John, he goes, you Eagles fans got to be so thrilled because when Howie hits in the draft, it sets up every single thing where Howie's 95-mile-an-hour fastball just overpowers people. And he says the ability to set up your roster, the ability to go sign these long-term extensions, manipulate the cap, and do things like that. But he also said something, Shefty, I wanted you to comment on, is the idea is that there's no more of an organization where the general manager drives the bus than Philadelphia. Is that very, very uncommon? Because a lot of these teams, he says, sometimes the head coach has an overpowering personality and command of how the team does their business?
Well, look, I would just say this, that the makeup of every organization is different. And we could go through and look at the makeup of each one. But I think with every team, there usually is one dominant figure, be it the head coach or the GM. And, Howie's done a great job through the years, and he's the dominant figure in Philly. Is he the most dominant? I don't know about that. Mike Tomlin's pretty dominant in Pittsburgh.
No, but is there another general manager who is more dominant in their franchise than Howie Roseman? That was the point he was making.
Yeah, I'm going through the list right now. I'm looking. Yeah, Jerry Jones.
Yeah. And we're pleased with that, by the way. Do not change a thing, Dallas.
Jerry Jones would be more, but I'm looking at the list of the rest of the league, and there's not one that stands out to me. But that's also in part because of the success that he's had there. Last week, I'm glad you brought that up. Last week, you said, are their teams scared of doing it? I said, no, they're going to call. They're not going to shy away from it. But I will say this. They are mindful of his track record, because I did have one GM say to me this week where this guy was talking about moving back and who would come up, and Philly came up, and the guy goes to me, he was joking around. Yeah, we're blocking all calls from the 215 area code into our facility.
Well, good thing we also have the 609 and 610. You
and
never
Howie
know.
has burners, I'm sure. You know
yeah,
that.
Exactly. Schefty, for some of us who wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do a morning show in Philadelphia, likelihood that the Eagles even pick tomorrow night, and if they do trade back, who are some of the suitors that you could see making the phone call to Philadelphia?
Well, again, Andrew, you're stuck on the trades. And we're going to get trades. I mean, because it's just a natural byproduct of the draft, and inevitably certain guys will be in certain spots and teams will want to move up. But I just want to point that again. No trades so far. And I got to go through and count the number of trades that we've gotten in each of the last 4 or 5 years. I'll do that today. But I would predict right now that we get fewer trades tomorrow night than we've gotten in other years. And so could the Eagles, or the chances the Eagles are going to be at 32? Probably pretty good. A lock? No. Could they move out? Sure. Would there be a team that wants to come up to their spot? Probably, well, the Giants, oddly enough, they're at 34. Mm-hmm. And so, if they want to get in front of Cleveland, but we don't know if, one of those is going to move up in the first round. Look, here's the deal. You got the Browns at 33, the Giants at 34, the Saints at 40. Is there going to be one of those teams that wants to jump up ahead of the others, that they view the quarterback situation as such that they need to move up in the draft, try to get one of these quarterbacks? Again, we got 5 quarterbacks here that view themselves as top 40 picks, right? Hold on. We have the birthday boy, Field Yates, delivering coffee to my room.
Field Yates, he was just on the Fanatic yesterday.
Yeah, with the Mike Missanelli show. How about that?
That's nice of Field to do that. He's already gotten a workout in, I'm sure.
Yeah. He's delivering it, and he's doing it on his 18th birthday. He gets his
18th.
Hey, warn him about girls, because they could be your downfall, Adam.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to talk about the Birds and the Bees show after
That's awesome.
It may be a little late. It may be a little late. I understand.
He is married, so it's tough.
Yeah, exactly.
You got a handwritten note on your coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Phil Yates on the show too. It's amazing. Shefty, last thing, and we appreciate your time as always, and enjoy yourself in Green Bay with the draft. I just want to thank you for the way you worded your report. Other than internet speculation, A.J. Brown is not being traded.
That was interesting.
Yeah, thank you for adding the internet speculation to your report.
Well, how should I have phrased it?
No, I think you did.
No, I think you did exactly, because we laughed at the internet speculation. So
the funny thing about it is, it was just a throwaway note at the end of the college. I'm like, a couple of times it came up. Like I was at where was I on Saturday? Where was I on Saturday? Hold on, let me tell. God, I'm losing my mind here. I was somewhere Saturday. Where the hell was I?
The grocery store.
You don't even know where you were on Saturday? It's not that long ago, Pop.
But this is why I keep a journal. to remind me of these things because I can't remember anything. Saturday, where was I? Anyway, I was somewhere Saturday, and I had a couple of people stop me. Oh, I know where I was. I went to my in-laws' Easter brunch on Sunday.
Oh, okay. There it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I had a couple of, it's in New Jersey, and I had a couple of people stop me, and they're like, Eagles trading for A.J. Brown? Or the Patriots? I'm like, geez, I gotta address this. Like, if I stop twice, I gotta put a stop to this right now. And so I texted my editor, Dane Beavers. I said, hey, the draft intel, just in the quick hits, just put in contrary to internet speculation. The Eagles are not trading A.J. Brown. And he said, will do. And that was it.
Yep, and that's why we didn't waste our time talking about it, at least on this show. Shefty, we appreciate the time
Thanks,
as always,
Adam.
man. We'll talk to you again next week.
Gentlemen, appreciate you. Have a great day, great week. Enjoy the draft, and should be a fantastic week.
You enjoy Green Bay. There's nothing like it.
There is that is true. First of all, there is nothing like it. Okay?
There is,
and the people are really nice, and it's great to be here. I will say, I would like to be in a hotel that, not to be a snob or anything, that has like a coffee, like a Starbucks in the lounge, or room service, so that I don't have to leave the hotel. Like, that's ideal, but that's not the way it is this week.
And there's a guy out front with a bike. You could ride a bike. The kids will bring the bikes for you.
So like I have the birthday boy Field Eats delivering Starbucks to my room here.
That's good. Now you give him a good tip. I know what you make.